Oh, hey guys. Today we're going to do a screen replacement and a disassembly for an Asus TUF series. And if you just follow my cursor here, from the center part, that's probably the best way for you to follow it. So the model for the Asus TUF series is the FX505 GT BB51 CB as in Charlie Bob. So it's not really, this one here is not difficult at all. So you shouldn't have any issues following my picture tutorial because it's pretty straightforward and very easy to follow. Because if you do get stuck in a certain area, it's much easier for you to stop on a picture by picture tutorial because then you can easily, recover from where you left off because it's very simple. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on the bottom end here. So if you take a quick look at the bottom left and the bottom right, there's this little plastic sticker tab that's actually covering up two screws, one on the left and one on the right. So your primary focus to do next is to basically remove that without, damaging it or making it look kind of ugly. So what I end up using for this here, I just use one of my pick tools. As you can see there, just pick one at the corners and just pop it out, and then do the same thing as for the right side, and then just place it down in the corner here, right below it, so that it make sure that the sticky side is actually on your laptop, so that it doesn't, like you end up misplacing it or something like that. And then for the right side, as you can see here, just use your pick tool again. And you know what? Another awesome tool to use if you're trying to take something out like that's really sharp and thin is a paring knife. A lot of paring knives are actually really good at it, but I was kind of fortunate to have this pick tool. So as you can see here, use a paring knife or just even an X-Acto knife if you can, and then that should be good too. And then just pop out the two areas there. And then if you look at it here, there's a screw. So you just use your star, screwdriver, and then just remove the two screws, bottom left, bottom right, very simple. And then the next step, what we're going to do here is I kind of looked at all of the corners. That's what I do. I try to assess the seed to show you guys which area that you can actually start off in removing the front plastic screen bezel in the front, so that you don't end up damaging it or breaking it or anything. So when I was feeling around and trying the left side, the right side, the bottom end and stuff, that the easiest place for you to use to start the whole prying process by just simply using your fingers and your fingernails is literally right here on the top left hand corner. As you can see here, I stuck two of my fingers underneath and it popped open. So the next thing you want to do is, afterwards, what you do is just put your thumbnail from the top left here, just run it here to the left, then run it all the way to the right, and it'll just keep popping. You heard these little popping sounds. That means you're popping out the little clamp slash fasteners. It's actually holding the front plastic bezel to the rear, aluminum chassis of your screen frame. And as you can see here, this is another area here that I was just showing you here. Just use your thumb and just run it to the left and run it way back to the right side. And then it's exactly here. Sorry, the picture's not that clear, but you guys get the idea anyways. And then once you do get to the corner here, don't stop. Just keep going with your thumb and then just run it right down to the bottom, way down to the bottom right. And just like this here, just keep going down to the bottom right until it just pops right down here. Because I'll show you guys how to remove that section here, because you'll need a little push tool or a pick tool or something just to pop it out. And then this is on the left side here too. As you can see here, I just ran my thumbnail down from the top left to the bottom left, and it's pretty simple. And then this is how it looks like now after we remove 3 out of the 4 corners. So the main bottom here that we have, because that this is going to be pretty simple too. So don't be worried about breaking this part here, because you won't. So this is where you have to apply a little bit of force, not 100% force, just like use like 35-40%, like a pulling force for this, just like this here. Just put about 2 or 3 fingernails in there, and then just pull it out. And then, because as soon as you start pulling the bottom part of the plastic bezel, it will actually make a loud popping sound, which you want to hear, because that's what it's actually releasing itself from the rear chassis of the LCD frame. And then you'll also need a cutting tool here. So in this situation here, what I did was that I use the same pick tool here that you see here. I use that to cut my bottom end here, because if you look at this here carefully, which I know you guys can see because this is a really close-up shot, this film here looked like this at one time. But what I did was I ended up using my pick tool that I showed you in the previous pick, and that it started just running alongside the lip of the outer plastic. Don't cut it from this section here. Just cut it like about 3/8 of an inch from the top of this, the plastic, bezel that you are removing. Just run your knife, your paring knife or your pick tool, just run it right across to the far right hand corner. Here, I'll give you a different angle here. As you can see, this is what I was using the pick tool here, and I was just running it alongside that little film that's attached to the LCD, and then just make sure that it's all cut up, because that's part of the process for you to be able to remove the front plastic bezel. And then once you get here, as you can see here, it's all been cut. And as you can see here, okay. So the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to pop the two pieces like what I was showing you here, which is, this is from the right. So the easiest way for you to get this out here, I'll show you a different angle of this picture here. This is a better angle here. You see this here, I'll go back to the top here. Right there. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this to come out, because this is very easy to break. It is very durable, but I want you guys to be able to do it right so that you guys don't end up breaking it, because if you break that, the frame is probably not going to hold in 100%. So this is the best way to do it here. So what you do is use one of your pick tools, or even you can use your paring knife and stick it behind here from underneath. From underneath here, I'll give you a different angle there, as you can see here. Okay, so what you want to do is you can actually situate your laptop here standing upwards. Do one side at a time, as you can see here. That's what I did. And then what I did was I actually put one of my other pick tools, my pry tool, a plastic pry tool. Try not to use metal if you don't have to. If you do have a paring knife, it's perfectly fine, because there's no wires behind here and where this little piece is located. So you can either use plastic or your paring knife. So don't worry about it, because the paring knives are usually sharp at the tip and very narrow anyways. But I end up using a plastic pick tool. It's just a good thing to practice using. So all you do is just put your pick tool in there and then just push it forward towards you, and then you'll see it just release. So do that for both sides. And this is and that's a different angle here too. See, put it right inside of from the back end, and then just push it out, and then as you can see here, it just comes right out. And then once you've done both sides, as you can see here, it comes off really, really good. And then the next step, what we're going to do is, this is what it looks like here, your screen assembly without the front plastic bezel. So our primary focus now, what we need to do for the next phase, is to remove the rubber double-sided tape here. If you can see here, there's one there on the bottom left and one's on the bottom right. So I'll show you actually a closer pic for that. So this is the left side, as you can see here. So again, if you have a paring knife or a good pick tool, if you don't have one of those, you can use also a needle, because the needle is very sharp. And what you want to do is just literally poke it and then just pull it out, just like that here. And this is the right side, right? This is the right side, the bottom right side. So what I did here was I used my pick tool and then just pulled it out. And then what you want to do is use your left hand, if you can, and then just start feeding that out. Pull it out about every 1 to 2 inches, because it's very stretchable. So, and do take your time. Don't rush this job, because if you want to be able to reuse this, you can easily reuse this. I use it all the time. I don't bother using the double-sided tape, the 3M tape that I actually have for my new jobs. I would rather use this, because that's a more durable and a much more stickier, a double-sided, rubber tape. And it grips awesome. So if you want to just conserve this and reuse it, just make sure that you just grab this with your thumb and your index finger, and then just would pull it out with your left hand, and use your right hand every time you have another 2 or 3 inches coming out. Just pull back with your left hand, and then use your right hand to feed out more of it, and go slowly. Take about 45 seconds to a minute to remove each one on the left and the right side, but just take your time, and you'll actually have a nice flat piece that you can reuse on the new screen. All right. And this is a demonstration here. I'll flip it out here. I'll flip it here so I can show you guys. So this is what it looks like here. I'm doing the right side. I've already done the left. So this is what it looks like here. See, it's nice and flat. So I had to take a picture, obviously, for you guys, but I'm normally using two hands to do this. So right now I only have my left hand, just pulling it out, or actually just holding it, while my right hand is usually about in this area here, halfway in, and then just pulling more of this rubber tape out. And you keep feeding it out, because this thing will stretch out about probably a good 14 plus inches long, or 16 inches. So just keep pulling it out very slowly. You do not want to do it fast. Don't pull it out this way to the right side. Just pull it straight back towards you. about every 1 to 2 inches, and it will eventually come out. But the thing is, I don't want you to do it really fast, because if you end up pulling out too fast, what's going to actually happen is that, if you're actually at close to the end of the tape, letting go, it's going to snap on you, and you're going to get a big coiled and twisted ball of rubber tape, because it's actually happened to me. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys, just to take it easy, and then just take your time, and then you can reuse it. And once you have the whole piece coming out very slowly and flat like this, just place it somewhere on your table away from your screen job, and then so that you can reuse it on the brand new screen and put it on the brand new one. All right. So, and this is what it looks like here. So, and here, I'll flip this one here too. I actually thought that I had them all. I actually had a customer, guys. So sorry. So this is what it looks like here. So I did, when you have the screen pulled down, as you can see here, the LCD cable, the 30-pin cable is still attached to the system. What I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to put the screen all over the power button, because the last thing you want to do is accidentally power on your laptop, and you're removing your cable, and then you don't pull the cable out in a one smooth motion or a single sequence, and then you end up shorting your system, and then goes your board. Like, it's just done. So just remember that, guys. You can easily do this without having to remove the battery, but that's why I'm going to show you what you need to do. And when you're placing your defective screen on your system, make sure you put it on the keyboard and keep it at least an inch away from the power button, or be mindful that the power button is there, so that this doesn't slide back up and turn it on. All right. So that's why you actually see the screen on a certain angle like this, and not right over the power buttons, because we don't want to turn on the laptop while you're removing the cable, or putting in the new screen while you're fitting the new cable in there. So this is where our next primary focus is. You can see there's a clear tape here that's actually holding the 30-pin cable down. So what you do is, either on the left side or the right side here, just use your fingernail or your thumbnail, and then just scuff it up, and lift it up for about 3/8 of an inch. And then once you get it, you can just peel it back, and try to keep the tape, because you want to be able to reuse it, right? Because I didn't have the screen for my client, because his situations, he didn't know what resolution he needed. Because for this one here, it came with a 1920 by 1080 resolution. And there was also, on laptop screen, there was, I think it originally came with there's also a different screen, I think a full HD or something else, that uses a 120 hertz screen. And it also said on the website that you can use a 140 hertz screen to replace the 120 hertz screen. But it ended up with this part number, after it did the job and searched out his part number, which I'll show you at the end. He ended up just needing a 1920 by 1080 resolution screen, not the 120 hertz slash 140 hertz. Okay. So here, I'll get a closer image of this here. Just scuff it up. This is where we're going to be focused here, and just scuff up the tape, just like this here. And then just lift it up slowly, and then just peel back. Once you get to the left side, just peel it right back, but don't peel it off of this cable. Make sure that a quarter of the tape is still on this cable, because it's supposed to be on the cable. So don't pull it out quick. Just take your time and just go slow. And it's just like this here, as you can see here. So this is where I really wanted to stress to you guys, because there's 30 pins and 40 pin cables. This is the 30 pin, right? A lot of times you'll see other laptops that actually have this special latch lock system that you see. If I don't know if you can, well, I know you guys can see. So if you look at this white C shape here, this line here, the outline, normally they actually have a latch lock system, where if you want to release the locking cable where it's locked, all you do is you put your fingernail and lift it up. So this one here, it doesn't have that, which is fine too. I would rather have a latch lock system, because then at least the cable will never come loose, because once you push it down flat against this board, it will actually stay locked. So for you to unlock it, you just lift it up with your fingernail and unlock it. So for you to remove this cable properly, do it in this one smooth motion, or this one sequence, because this is how you do it right, without shorting your motherboard or anything. So you use your left hand, like you see here that I'm doing. Obviously, I'm taking a picture with this, so I can't use my right hand to show you, but your right hand with your thumb and your index finger is going to be, you're going to hold it just like this, like you see my left hand. Hold this side here with your right hand, and just literally pull straight back in a nice, like, just smooth motion, going straight back, and then this whole thing will come right off. Just that simple. Just like this here. So since I still have to order the screen for my client, which I'm going to get tomorrow, It's I'll probably do a part two installation for this, because once I get it, and because as you can see here, it's pretty long even for the first one, but at least you guys are getting it done easy and safely without damaging anything. So at the meantime, if you guys don't know what screen you need, but if you do have the exact same model as mine, make sure that the part number matches, what I have that I'm going to show you at the last picture here, because if your part number is different, there's a very high possibility that you're probably going to need the 120/140 hertz screen, which is I think was the better screen out of the two models. Not that the 1920 is bad, it's just, it's just two different screens, right? So, and what I did was to make sure that this doesn't touch any piece of metal, because we still have a live cable, right? All you do is I just end up putting the tape, I folded the tape over just right down towards the cable, as you can see here, so that it's protected without touching anything. So the plastic's protecting it. And this is the part number here. So when you go to laptopscreens.com, if you're based in the US or whatever around the world, they sell screens and ship screens all around the world. So if this is your part here, the LM156LFCL, you're going to need the 1920 by 1080. And what I'll do is I'll post a link on the description, on the comments, just so that you guys can actually click on it and get the right screen if your part matches this. But if any of the numbers or letters is slightly different than what you see here, then there's a very high possibility that what you want to do is go to laptopscreen.com and do a search for that part number, and you'll most likely probably end up needing a 120 or a backslash 140 hertz, LCD screen. So I hope that this, helps you guys out. And if you have any questions, like I said, just put them in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Please, subscribe and like the video. Have a good day. Cheers.